The time has finally come. Around the world, many countries right now are starting to ease back on the lockdown laws. Whether I disagree with this or not is a totally different story, but what is true is that it is a perfect time right now to start getting serious about your online dating profile photos. Today I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide how to get out there and get really fantastic shots that are going to get matches, that are going to get you dates, is that you can take advantage of right now. It's 10 steps for you to follow, and if you do all this, you're going to end up with really fantastic shots. Keep watching to find out more. So without any further ado, I want to make this guide as succinct as possible. So let's get started straight away with step number 1, and that is invite at least one other friend to go with you. Now, you don't have to go out with a friend. You can do this alone with just a tripod or some way to hold your mobile phone camera if you're going to use a mobile phone. But the truth of the matter is that it's going to be so much more fun with friends, like infinitely so. It's going to help you get better photos because you'll be in a better mood. It'll be easier to smile. It'll be easier to be creative with different shots that you can take. It'll feel less awkward being out in public taking photos. So if you can go out and do this with a friend, that would be fantastic. Step number 2, you want to make sure that you've got access to either a digital SLR camera or a recently modern mobile phone. Now, I say this because the important thing about many of these photos is that you're going to have background blur. It's otherwise known as bokeh, which is essentially where you have the subject in the foreground is nice and sharp and the background is blurry, and that makes them pop out. Now, modern mobile phones do this. They use some auto magic in their circuitry to achieve this effect. Cameras do this, of course, better, like digital SLR cameras, but you might not have access to one. But modern phone cameras do a pretty good job too. If you don't have access to a camera that can do the background blur, I highly suggest you really going to want to have some decent Photoshop skills to accomplish this yourself. It always will look better on a camera, but you can get 90% of the way there on a mobile phone. So long as, and this is going to lead me into step 3, but so long as you have really good lighting, because mobile phones tend to fall apart really quickly when the lighting isn't amazing. Step 3. Try to go out during the afternoon hours. That is, the hours towards sunset, otherwise known as the golden hours. These hours are well known for being some of the best times to take photos because the light becomes golden, becomes yellow, and that yellow tends to look much nicer on skin tones. So when I take guys out here in the Gold Coast near Brisbane, I take guys out for their photo shoots, I almost always do it during the golden hours of the day. Don't do any photos indoors or at night unless you know what you're doing with lighting and everything else, because one of the most important parts of any photograph is the lighting. So you're going to make sure you've got good lights there. Step 4. You want to make sure that you've got 3 changes of clothing. So what clothes do you want to bring? Well, the first thing I highly recommend you should have is something formal. And by formal, I mean at the very least a collared sports jacket, something that looks really nice. Now, a suit would be even better. When I say suit, I don't even think you necessarily want a tie. An open neck, suit shirt would be fine, but something that looks really fancy pants, right? Because men look sexy. Men generally agree to look hot in a suit. They look really fantastic. If you've got access to one, definitely make one of your outfits that. The second outfit you want to have is think about what you'd wear if you wanted to dress to impress on a nighttime date. Bring that outfit. And thirdly, the kind of outfit you want to have is something that you would wear to a daytime date. If you're going to meet a cute girl, a girl you really liked during the day for a coffee, what would you wear with her? Bring those 3 outfits with you so you can get a range of different looks achieved. Step number 5, this is an optional one, but I highly recommend it. Bring a wine glass with you. It can be empty. You don't need any wine. Just bring the wine glass. I'll explain how you're going to use this shortly, but it's going to really help to add a little bit of class to your photos. Number 6 is certainly not optional. That is, you want to pick a location that can have in close range a lot of different backdrops available to you. So where I do a lot of my photos with guys here in the Gold Coast, by the way, I'm not a professional photographer, but I do know how to take great photos. So I do a lot of photo shoots with clients here. I go to a place down near where I live, down by the lake, where you can get lake backdrop shots, you can get boats in the background, you can get photos of guys sitting right by the edge of the water, you can get backdrop with guys with buildings behind them, backdrops with guys with nature behind them. And so there's a lot going on. You can have a lot of sort of different scenarios that both look urban and rural, so to speak, that can give a little bit of variety to the photos to see what's going to work best. There's also a lot of props to use around, like bridges they can lean on, interesting trees they can sit on, they can sit back, like lean against or sit against. All these kind of things offer a variety for your shots. Step number 7, and this is where we really get into the nitty-gritty of taking your photos. So what you want to do is for every outfit that you try on, so you've got 3 outfits that you're going to have, you want to, for each one, you want to find 4 different sort of positional backdrop things, right? So in other words, you know, if you're going to be wearing a suit, you might want to do one where you're leaning over on the edge of a bridge, looking thoughtful. You might want to have one where it's more of a power seated position, sitting on a bench, your hands clasped like this, looking directly at the camera. You might have another one that's kind of in a suit but casual, leaning back against a pole maybe, or leaning back against a wall, for example, hands in your pockets, looking off to the side, looking thoughtful, right? All these different sort of like situations, standing or sitting, right? Think about what works with the outfit you're wearing, but you want 4 totally different situations for each outfit. For each situation, so you've got 4 per outfit, that's 12 in total, right? 3 outfits, 4 different situations per outfit. For each one of those, you want to have at least 10 photos. And each of those photos, you're doing something slightly different. So in one, you're looking at the camera smiling. Another one, you're looking at the camera smirking. Another one, you're looking away from the camera looking thoughtful. In another one, you're looking up doing this. In another one, right, you're doing different things for all of these photos. At least 10. That means that by the end of your photo shoot, you're going to have at least 120 different photos of yourself. That is at least. When I go out with guys and I take photos, I make sure that I've got at least 180 to 200 different photos of them to give you some idea of, you know, how many photos you really want to be taking. And one of the big mistakes guys to make is they take way too few photos. And by the way, this is where the wine glass comes into play, because it can be really helpful when you've got the suit photos, and some of these photos are maybe the nighttime fancy photos. You put some water in your wine glass and hold it like you've got a wine glass. If you can get a shot that looks really classy, hey, here's me with a glass of wine by the water, chilling, doing my thing, that can be a really nice lifestyle shot. Because again, when it comes to your online dating photos, women want to see you living a life that they'd like to be standing next to you for. Chilling by the water with a nice glass of wine, that looks really fantastic. Don't worry, in the photos, it won't be obvious that it's water and not wine. Number 8, step number 8 is a bit of a bonus step. If you see someone walking by you with a cute dog, do not be afraid to ask them if you can quickly take a couple of shots of yourselves with the dog. Most dog owners will be really, really happy to oblige. Most people love their dogs so much, they're narcissistic about their dogs. I do this all the time when I'm doing photo shoots. Where I go, there's a lot of dog walkers. Obviously, I pick my people. Some people look kind of grumpy or whatever, and some people look really happy. They're in a good mood with the dog. Pick people you think are going to be friendly, but do it, because it'll be so worth it to have photos of you playing with a cute little dog. Which brings me now to step number 9. What you want to do is you want to go home with all of your photos and you want to have a look through them. And what you're going to do is 3 of those photos, out of those 120, just 3 of them are going to be used for your online dating profile. Maybe just 2. Now, this is where what surprises a lot of guys. Guys often don't realize how many photos you need to take of someone to get amazing shots. See, what a lot of guys do is they take a photo of themselves now and again, and then they go, I'm just not photogenic. I don't get any good shots of myself. I'm an ugly guy. Oftentimes, it's none of those things. The problem is just that you don't have enough. So you don't have enough quantity, so that statistically you end up with a few good ones. So as I said, I generally take about 180, 200 shots, but 120 for most guys should hopefully be enough. So that's what you're going to do. Now, if you're unsure, what I highly recommend you do is take your favorite 10 photos from the bunch and start showing them to female friends, even male friends. Just start getting input from people, or use online rating sites like photofeeler.com and stuff. Get women to have a look at your profiles and give you some feedback as to which ones they think are the most appealing. And finally, step 10, and this is a bit of a bonus step, but it will definitely help you out. It'll definitely give you that extra 15-20% of the edge on your online dating profile. If you've got decent Photoshop skills, or you have a friend who has decent Photoshop skills, get them to jump into your photo and make some improvements, especially things around the color, the contrast, and the lighting on the photos, right? Like raising the shadows that you can see everything in the photo, but also making sure that that photo really pops, because a bland photo is easy to overlook on online dating sites, especially the Tinder ones where you swipe left and right. I highly, highly recommend that instead what you do is you make them like really bright, really punchy. That'll get a lot more attention. But also what I tend to do is I tend to use a bit of a soft masking and get rid of some of the, I soften the skin a little bit, not so much as like a fashion model or anything stupid like that, but just enough to, it can just enhance the look. These little changes that we can do, whitening the eyes, whitening the teeth, little bits and pieces can really enhance the photo. And it's not hard to do. If you've only got 3 photos to do, for me, it'll take me about 15 minutes per photo. It's worth it to create some really fantastic shots that you can use in your profile. And so these are the 10 steps that you need to go through to get fantastic photos. I've seen a lot of my clients do this, and they've got incredible results and lots of matches as well, which is, of course, the whole reason you're doing this. Now, I know that lockdowns are slowly starting to be eased, but while they're still in place, I want to let you know about my School of Online Dating special, which I've been running during this lockdown. It's still active right now, will be likely for only about another week now, where basically if you sign up for the School of Online Dating course, where I show you how to take incredible photos, a lot more detail than here, how to talk with women online, how to create incredible profiles, how to write incredible profiles, how to set up dates, how to make sure women turn up on dates, and everything in between. I'm going to show you the whole kit and caboodle, exactly what you need to do. If you sign up for that program right now, as long as you complete it within the next 30 days, you can get your money back. You can get a complete refund. And the reason I'm doing this is to help guys out during the coronavirus period, but also because I know that right now a lot of guys are struggling financially. So at the end, you actually get an option. You can request a full refund or a partial refund and help me out a little bit, but it's totally up to you. This special, as I said, is going to be over soon with the world easing off the lockdown. So take advantage now. There'll be a link up here. Go ahead and click that to learn more. For the rest, guys, if you've given this a try in the past, I'd love to hear about your experiences in the comments below. And as always, if you've loved this channel, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and also check out some of my other videos. If you like this one, odds are you'll probably like some of those as well. As always, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in my future videos.